Alright, hell yeah. So this is my run through Crystal Rapid. And the objective is to get way the heck over here. And this is one of those where at higher water, heck yeah, even at lower water, you just want to bounce down that right side. So we get totally spun, and now we have no more momentum towards the right side, and we have to go through that crystal hole right there. But at this higher water level, it was still pretty wave-like. You know, definitely was not a hole. So there you go. So just kind of a breaking wave. All right, so let's talk about things that we can do. You know what I mean? So first off, we're on this right side, and if I take a paddle stroke, the front of the boat goes that way. If I pry hard to keep this angle, the back of the boat goes that way. So this is perfect setup for, you know, using that to get to this right direction. But what's going to happen is that I'm headed towards slower water. Like at some point, the front of my boat is going to catch slower water, like right about here, and my boat is already starting to turn. And I kind of shift my weight to realize this, maybe, but heck yeah, like right now I'm just done. You know what I mean? Like I don't have anything in my playbook to remedy this situation. And so this is another deer in the headlights moment where I'm just like, well, I know how to high side, so let's watch that, because I'm just like, uh-oh, I'm just getting spun. We need to hang on to the boat, because if I flip here, I just can't get separated. I'm on a solo trip, so that's kind of my main focus. There was some beastie holes that you just don't want to go into, but I scouted this one. I knew it was just a wave we can punch through. So this video is going to be talking about what is the best angle to get over here. And so from my last Golly video, I would imagine it's being able to paddle on both sides of the boat. Because again, we're going to have to use our imagination, but let's say this boat is facing upstream at a 45-degree angle that way. And then I'm going to actually try to paddle on my off side. I'm going to go to the right side of the boat, and if my boat is upstream and I'm paddling on this right side, boat upstream, a forward paddle stroke is going to drive my boat that direction, and a pry is going to pry my boat that direction. And the reason that an upstream ferry angle would be effective is because if I, again, just like the Golly video, if I lose my angle to a downstream angle, well, I'm just, you know, I'm perpendicular. Like even this one, it's even crazier than going through Pillow Rock on the Golly. I chose to, and this is kind of my earliest days, but I don't think I've improved river running a whole lot mentally. So I would think a downstream 45 would be just fine, but it's not, because in this case, like on the Golly, I got actually turned downstream, but in this case, I get turned perpendicular because we're headed for this slower water. But let's talk about this, because the second my boat turns at an angle like this, I'm in that same. It's not as bad as that last video I made on the Golly, because if I would just throw in two really good pries into my wheelhouse, and at the wave I do this, like the boat's going towards the eddy, I really have to be pry oriented and just even do like 3 pries in a row. So even just putting that in your playbook of like, hey, I can take 2 pries. And so like I've been taking strokes where I'm taking 2 forward strokes and then a pry. And so the opposite would be true. You need to throw into your wheelhouse, or just for me, just learning this stuff, 2 pries in a row, even if 3 pries in a row. And think about it. A pry is, essentially getting the boat to go that way. But the same thing on the Golly is like body shifting. Like if I know my boat's going this direction, and this is my starting point, like what would be the fastest way to catch this eddy? Well, it might be to jump to this tube and start paddling to get the boat to spin in this direction. Even though we're kind of facing this way already, it could be a decent. That's one thing that we could do. Turn around and start to get the boat to turn upstream that direction, and you get those 3 things that happen. Upstream slow, you get a turn into this eddy, and then you're on the upstream part of the boat. Now the other thing that I could probably do here is because we're getting heavily shifted, is now just jump to the offside. I mean, this is how I wanted to start my eddy if I was just paddling on the offside. If I take a stroke this direction, the boat's going to go that way. If I pry and I'm sitting on this side, the back of the boat's going to go that way. Both are in the directions that I want to go. But man, we just get spun. So, I mean, all that stuff has to happen pretty instantaneously. And what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to do some river running where I set up for failure. You know what I mean? Kind of do this, have a shallow angle, have the boat turn, and then just instantly jump to and build those intuitions. Like do that one thing I was talking about, spin it more, and then do the other thing I was talking about. Go in that way. And then I think there's one more aspect to this, because if I'm coming in like this and I'm getting, it's like if I lost my angle and I feel like I need to pry to get it back, well, no, you don't. I mean, R1 boating it doesn't have to be, you don't have to do everything from one side of the boat. So if I need this boat to go more that direction, I should just jump over here right now and take some offside strokes. But when I did this Grand Canyon trip, I had no ability to paddle on my offside. And this happens a lot for R1 boaters. You might hop in a raft and be just fine paddling on the other side, if someone's yelling commands. But when it comes to actually dialing in a boat with an R1 stroke, it can feel awful over here. So there is just certain places where it's just like, oh, I just need to paddle 3 times over here. So this is that choice time to just jump to the offside, throw in 3 or 4 paddle strokes, get that downstream angle that I was hoping for, and then just continue with the strong side paddling. Okay, so hell yeah. And we just totally get turned around. And booyah. But we do a pretty good job high-siding into Crystal. That is kind of one of my favorite clips. Heck yeah. Just because I don't actually tip over. Like, whatever I do it, pretty... And my body is not falling out. So I don't know if it's just the fact that we're going in with slower momentum. But yeah, that's kind of an interesting thing, is a lot of these I'm just getting launched out of the boat, but not on that one. Okay, so we're just going to watch this one more time. And I think we've covered it. We at least have a couple things that we could work on when driving. We could drive at this 45. If our angle gets switched, jump to the other side, start paddling. I think that's probably the easiest thing. And then all the other complicatedness that I talked about, hopefully I can make more videos on that. All right, booyah.